Hello, hello, roommates. It's Jelana coming at you from the Blue Room, and tonight we are going to be designing this Congrats Jordan 2026 custom photo cake topper. I'm really excited about this one because it's super simple. You only need a few features in Cricut Design Space. And before we get into actually designing in our canvas, we're going to need to go grab our SVG. I've linked it in the description box below. Upload, upload image, and then click browse and go wherever you had your downloads. I know it's called Congrats. All right, and I'm going to choose the PNG. Open, click continue. And it's already transparent, and we know that because we can see this checkerboard in between our white space. We don't need to do anything here, so we'll click apply and continue. We want this to be a single layer because this is all we're going to be doing with this. I'm curious to see what multiple layers looks like because this is all one color. So maybe we'll try that in a different video. But for tonight we're going to click single layer and then continue. I'm going to name this Congrats Hat SVG. You can name yours whatever you would like. And then I might as well create a new collection because if you've been following along on YouTube, you know I have a lot of graduation videos, so I might as well start collecting things. So if you follow me on Cricut Design Space, you can have access to this project. Just leave me a comment below and I will send you the private link. All right, we're going to click upload and it's going to show up on our canvas. Okay, this is quite large. I'm going to go ahead and downsize this. I like my cake toppers to be about no bigger than 7 inches wide, maybe 8. Because most people will choose to get a 10-inch cake. And when your toppers are bigger than the cake, it looks a little awkward. So I try to kind of fit what most people would do and size a little under that. So for this Congrats SVG, I'm just going to start with the width of 7. Okay, from here we can click on font because we're going to need to type Jordan's name. So I click on text. Cricut Sans is the default. I'm going to need a couple pieces of text. The first one is going to be Jordan. Whoa. And the next one is going to be 2026. Those are both of our texts. The font we're going to be using tonight is called Varsity. It is a Cricut Access font, and I know that because it's got this little A beside it. If you're interested in trying out the Cricut Access membership for 30 days, there's a link in my bio for you to experiment a little bit. I have been a Cricut Access member since I've owned my Cricut in 2020, and I do not regret this membership at all. I have Creative Fabrica as well, as you know, but I enjoy the ease of the quick browse, and their home features give me ideas all the time about what I can create for you guys. So from here, I'm going to choose the same font again. I can go over to recent and it's the last one I use. So I want Varsity Letter Narrow. And the reason I chose narrow just from a design perspective is because the Congrats is already bold to me, and I didn't want the Congrats and the name of the graduate to be competing. So I wanted one to be a little bit thicker and one to give like a slimmer kind of compare and contrast vibe. Jordan does look a little squeezed together for me though. So I'm going to go over to edit and increase the letter space to 1. That's typically what I choose. Sometimes I go as big as 2 depending on how big the letters are, but this again looked a little too spaced out for me. I don't want my eye to compete with the word Congrats and Jordan's name. So I'm going to just make the spacing a tad bit smaller at 1 and use my purple guidelines, my magenta guidelines to center everything. Now 2026, I apologize, I chose wrong font. I do not want Varsity Letter Narrow. I just want Varsity Letter. So when I type in Varsity in my search box, it will give me 3 different options. The first one you can see is multi-layer because it has a blue and green color palette, but regular Varsity Letter is the outline itself. And that's the easiest for me because I don't have to really hide any layers or delete any layers. It's just already there waiting for me. And then from here, I'm going to line this up with the edges of my cake topper, which we already said was 7 inches. So I click 2026, go up to width, and change it to 7. I, of course, want this to be aligned, so I use my magenta guidelines and space it to something that I think is far enough apart. I like a little space because we are going to be creating an offset, and I want you to be able to see the yellow outline and make it really bold and pop. So I want to leave a little space. Okay, from here, I am going to go ahead and highlight everything and align center, just so we can make sure everything's perfect the way it's supposed to be set up. And then from here, I'm gonna go to edit and then offset because I want to create my gold layer. I like 0.15 for my offsets. So I click apply. Notice that there's those white spaces in here. I wanted a complete bold background. So I go over to contour and hide all contours to give myself nice solid background, but I did want the middle to be open to give it a little bit of breathing room. I didn't want one big solid gold piece. I wanted majority gold, which means I need to come up here and change my color options. All right, so we've got our base. I'm also going to go ahead and duplicate this offset because I like for my cake toppers to hide the acrylic stick that I hot glue to it, which you can see me assemble this cake topper in part 2 of this video. And I like to hide that stick. That's just a personal preference. So in order to do that, I am going to duplicate this offset. And change the color to black. Usually my backing pieces are black or white. I have those colors on hand more easily. And black and white, you really can't go wrong with it. It goes with every design. So I just resize this to fit and then send it to the back. Okay. Last but not least, we need to take this 2026 and actually create our photo. So before we get into that, we need to actually upload a picture of our graduate. So I'll go back to upload and upload image yet again. Go to wherever you have your picture saved. You could also use a baby photo here. I think that might be cute, actually. Let's go with that. I think that would be really cute. I love when they show the baby pictures. When they show the baby pictures at graduation. I think it's so cute. Okay, so we will click remove background. It's going to take our background away. I click apply and continue. And then I want a flat graphic this time because this is going to be a print and cut. Continue. His name is Jordan. And I'm going to put him in my newly created graduation. Oh, I already had one. Look at that. Graduation folder. Upload. And then the next step is to fit baby Jordan into this 0. So we got a couple of steps before we get to that, but the idea is to slice him out of this 0. So first, 2026 is already by itself. So we're going to duplicate this. I'd like to weld this together. Duplicate this. Click on my original, weld that together, and then I want to hide the center of my 0 because this is going to create this outline border that I can place on top of my photo. And then for 2026, I can take all the numbers away except for 0. And then same thing, I can go over to contour, but this time I want a solid shape, because I am going to use that to slice out baby Jordan. I'm going to resize him so that he fits fairly comfortably into this 0. That might be a little bit too big. I do like the white space around because, again, I want breathing room for the eye. This tells me where the center is. And I'll just, I don't want that one to, there we go. I'll just expand him a little to make sure we hit that bottom so we get our magenta alignment. And then I'll highlight both of these elements. I want to slice these. And that is going to give me my Jordan, baby Jordan. I'm going to remove the silhouette. I don't need that. The slice result I want to keep. And this shoulders of his can also go. And now I've created that 0 number. The backing though needs to be changed to a white color. There we go. And then again, I highlight both of these elements and I want to flatten this. And now it's become a picture. You can't see the outline, but when I cover it with the background, then you can tell. So let me go ahead and change that background color so we can see that contrast. And now we've got baby Jordan. Okay, remember when you assemble this, which I show you in a different video, this will actually be underneath our 0. And will look essentially something like that. Cool. From here, you can group everything together. Just so you know what's what. That's what I do. That's why I called it Jordan. So I can hide that and I'll show you what your cut settings should be. Don't forget to save. Click Make. Oh, I forgot to attach our name. I already know. Yep, you see how Jordan is separate? There's no need to keep those separate when I actually want them to live together. This is how I want my topper to look. So I'll click cancel real quick and then go back and attach my congrats SVG, and my 2020 and my Jordan name. There we go. And then I'll click attach. And now I just told Cricut, hey, cut these 2 things together. But this should all, again, be able to fit on one sheet. If you are not doing glitter backing and doing a matte backing, then you don't need to switch anything up. Similarly, for this gold glitter, you would mirror this because it is going to be cut on glitter cardstock. You would mirror that because it is glitter. And then you've got your print and cut. Okay, when you click continue, I like to cut my photo paper on actual photo paper. So when you go to browse materials and you can type photo, you can cut it on photo paper. So that's the setting I would choose for my print and cut. For my glitter cardstock, I would choose glitter cardstock with default pressure. And then once you do a little check before you pull it out of your Cricut machine, you can run it through again just to make sure, but default already comes with 2 passes, so it should penetrate pretty good, clean cut. Same thing here, this is glitter cardstock. I want to remember this material because everything after this is glitter cardstock as well, which means when I change mats, my base material is all the same. You'll click go, and I will see you in the next video. If you learned something or if you have any questions, please drop your comments and things below. Go ahead and stick around for part 2 where I can show you how to assemble this wonderful cake topper that you just made. Until next time, guys, bye.